Hello, welcome to Penelope's Chinwag, another episode of, well, of this and that really. What's this week? My crafting table. I'll show you where I was last Sunday and where I am today, because today's Sunday. Yesterday I did a little chat about Agatha Christie, and Pete told you about a record that's very dear to his heart on his desert island discs. And then there's a little film of Agatha's house called Greenway in Dartmoor, and then a little film about a month ago now. We went away, which is when we went to see Agatha's house, Greenway, and the garden of the place we stay is lovely. It's got the River Teign running through it, and the weather was lovely. And oh yes, I just got up early and we just walked round, you know. It's just beautiful, very restful. Pete sat in the garden, as I've said, because the weather today is lovely. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It could stay like this now till September as far as I'm concerned. I think yesterday or the day before was the longest day, which, well, is my favourite time of the year. I love it when it's light. I don't like the dark very much. And so the longest day for me, I could be up in the north of Scotland where we just get a few hours of darkness. That would suit me. So without any further ado, I shall take you upstairs and show you my crafting table. I washed my hair last night, so it's perfectly good. But, you know, it goes a bit flat. I washed it late and went to bed. And so it went a bit flat. So I thought, well, roller girls, ideal. This is my quilt, as you know, and I'm quilting birds on the other side. So I'm just taking my time with that. I'm not rushing. I'm enjoying it. I've got my little box of goodies, 4 mice from the Complete Brambly Hedge. And I have finished, although that can go away, I've finished. Right, I've got the Forest Light. That's on the crafting table, but not yet. I need to move a bit ahead with other things. And that's there, but I leave it there because I know I've got it all organised, you know. Okay, what else have I got? I've got my Bunny Wishes socks, which I've done there. And I've done a little bit on the foot, but I've got to finish that one. I want to finish that so that he can try it on, and then I'm going to slowly knit the other one, not worry about it, because I feel it's going to be quite a warm sock, and that's going to be, you know, late autumn, winter. Okay, what's in here? Oh, this is for Nicola, my daughter. So I want to finish that so she can try it on, and I can think, right, I can get on with the other one. It's Sunday morning, so I do my tag. I've got this that, you know, I'm doing for my book, and I wanted to do a conker because that, you know, was part of my childhood, the conker trees. Well, I had something rather exciting happen. I had someone message me. I won't tell you about that here because this is my crafting table, but remind me to tell you. And last night, came over about 9:30, a message from someone who went to the school that I'm just about to tell you that I went to when I was 5. She remembers everything. I'm not going to tell you all that now. I'll tell you about that in my chatty bit. So I've got that next bit to do for my story, and I was going to do the conker from here. However, I think I found something else that might be easier, because not easier, but anyway, I might decide to do and that is in here. Let me show you. I'll put you down. Oh, I want to do another little chat about Agatha Christie. The fabric I've got, you've seen it before because this is one of them, but I'll show you. I bought 3. because they've got mice on. Here we go. So we've got 2 ribbons, a bunting, and a sledging. And it's beautiful, you know, it's that woven ribbon. It's beautiful. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use that. But I bought 3 mice. You see, and I could use that with all the conkers on to represent my garden, because it was very, very much like that. And of course I was only 5, so having the little mice along in my garden would have been lovely. So I think I'm going to use that for my next one of these. So I've got the autumn one, I've got the bunting one, and I've got the sledging one. So I've got a little green zip, and oh, here we are. I've got the plastic macaron, and so the front's been done, one, and the next front is going to be that, and I've got an inside cut out, and then I've got another inside cut out. So come on, I can sit and do that. Maybe I'll do that this afternoon. So that would be 3 things then to enter for Mousy Makes. But if I'm not in the mood for doing this, well, it'll be 2 things for Mousy Makes. John Arbon forgot my, when I was knitting the jumper before, do you remember? John Arbon forgot my order, so I had to remind him. And so he sent me a bag. So that is in the bag. That's all that's on my table. Well, just in a second, it's next week. That was last Sunday. This is this Sunday. Well, yeah, a week later. So what's on my crafting table? Do you want to see? First of all, there's my finished one for Mousy Make Along. Mousy Make Along. Oh, I can never say it. For Helen. Yeah, I know a lot of you are doing them. So that's my embroidery. I've shown you that. I'm going to take a photo of that. So that needs to be photographed and sent off by email. And then I don't know quite what I'm going to do with it. I shall decide when I've done the photograph. So that's done. 1 pair of socks for my daughter Nicola, and she tried one on, and then I knitted the other one. Oh goodness, they're quick knits, aren't they? And she liked it. She hasn't had a pair before, and I just did the 3 stitches, you know, either side of the 3 knit stitches. I think it gives a nice appearance. That was the first pair of socks I ever learnt to knit. The pattern said do 3 stitches, do 3 knit stitches. So yeah, so I'm happy with those. She can have those, and let me show you how much wool I've got left. I've got this much wool left, so I shall knit myself a pair. I think I'd like a pair of little shorty socks, and so I shall leave that on my crafting table. What else have I got? A finished peach sock. Oh, I love it. It's called the Bunny Wishes Socks by Sarah Kelly. Great Owl Knits. And I'm pleased with them. I'm really pleased with them. He's tried them on and they fit beautifully, and they've got a little bit of detail around the toe. Now, the only thing is, she says you need 50 grams of the main colour, and I have knitted more than 25 grams of blue up. I have knitted 27 grams of blue. So what's going to happen for the next sock? Well, you know what? I'm not going to send off for another ball of blue because it's a John Arbon. It's a beautiful wool. Well, I say that. I might do. We'll see. We'll see how we go. But it might be that he's got a little extra stripe on the next one of the grey. We'll see. We'll see how we go. So number 2 sock needs to be knitted, but because you have the double, you know, the wool carried across, it makes it a very warm sock. And then I did the partridge. I have partridge heel, which again means that the wool is carried across. So I think that's going to be more September, October, you know, more winter. That gives me time just to knit a few rows, knit a few rows. And so the other sock is going to be, you know, knitted the different ways so that they correspond, you know what I mean? Mirror each other. So I'm very pleased with those, very pleased. Unusual, aren't they? So that's that done. I shall leave that on here because I need to start the next one. I did my tag for last week, and because I read the Mousy Makes poem that Heather G wrote, it was all about mice, and I sent off for the fabric, didn't I? So last week's one was all about mice. There was a little bit of ribbon on there as well, I put. Can you see that? So that's my tag filled in. Okay, so it's Sunday again. So I need to do another one for this week. I don't know what it'll be, but that's on my crafting table ready to be done. I did one for my story. Do you remember me telling you about I had 8 conker trees in my garden when I moved to my new flat? I'm not going to be doing that again this week because I've done rather a long chat about Agatha Christie. But next week, I listened to a radio programme about words, and it was so interesting. I'm going to have a little chat about that, and then I shall read the next part of my book, definitely next week. But I did do my little tag, but I'll show you that as I read it, all the conkers in the garden. I thought that was rather apt. So that's ready for next week for the story. Pop that away. I can pop that away, yes, that doesn't need to stay out on my crafting table. What else? Oh, I'm going to give myself permission. I've got the wool here, you know, for my jumper. Oh, I've forgotten what it's called now. I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, I bought the wool ready for the jumper, and I've told myself not to start it until my crafting table's relatively clear. I mean, knitting myself a pair of socks, that's just what pick up when I want to. Knitting Pete's other sock, that's pick up when I want to. So I'm going to pick up my jumper this week. So watch the space, see how that goes. It's a top down, and then it's got, where's the pattern? Hang on, I'll get it. Here it is. It's called Forest Light by Jen Stonegas. And I love it. I love the sleeves. I love this. Anyway, I'll show you it as it goes along. I'm looking forward to doing it. So that's on my crafting table. Okay, where can I put that? I'll put that back. Why not? What's in here? Pete's socks. Well, here's the ball of wool I've got left. That's less than 25 grams. I've got plenty of that. So it might be that he has a couple of rows of that. I mean, it's going to be in his shoe. Does it matter? So I'll put that sock in there, and that keeps that all nicely together. Good. I didn't touch the macaron that I said I'd do for Mousy Makes Make Along. If it gets done next week, it gets done, and a photo will be sent off to Helen. If it doesn't get done, it can stay on my table for when I'm right in the mood. When you're in the mood, you zip through things, but if you're not in the mood, they tend to, well, you know, it's not too bad. It can stay there. It's neat. I haven't touched my quilt, and oh, I got a lovely piece of fabric from Frances, because she didn't know how to use the thimble. She thought you put the thimble on the other side to protect your finger, not the hand to push the thing through. So what I want to do is make her a, if she wants one, let's put you up again. I want to make a, I'll get it, hang on. I want to make one of these that's got a nice internal pocket. I love an internal pocket rather than something that's on the outside. And I'll keep my needles in here for my socks. So I might fancy doing that for her if she fancies it. Or I might fancy doing that for her if she would rather have that. I don't know. We'll see. It might be all or nothing, you know. We just don't know. But I would like to make her something, yeah, with that. Or she might. We'll see. She's come to stay this week for a few days, so we'll have a good old chat about it. So that's on my crafting table. And I've done this for Mousy Makes Along. Mousy Make Along. Anyway, one of it. Here it is, isn't it gorgeous? Oh, I love it. All the little mice. Snowman, sledging. Oh, look, he's seeing to his tail. Come on, let me see if I can get it for you. There, look. Seeing to his tail. That's the bunting one. And so I did it in 3 colours. I did a pale blue in there. It's a sort of, it is a blue, but it's a grey blue, very grey blue. And then a dark, only bits of fabric I had, darker mauve there and a lighter mauve there. Can you see that? And that's what it looks like on the back. You can see the colours there on the back. Just did a little bit of quilting just round. I've very much decided for myself that making these, I love making them. But I feel they're better with a nice cotton rather than the Liberty Tana Lawn. I find the Liberty Tana Lawn doesn't quite sit exactly how I want it to. But, you know, I'm doing them in cotton now, and that's adding to my, going to be added, I've got it on here, to my tablecloth. Here it is. I've put a picture up before, but there's all the, let's get rid of that. There's all the different squares I've done. A bit awkward to show you, really. You get the general gist. You've seen a photo of it before, but this one is going to fit in there amongst the others. So I was really pleased to get that done, to do it. And you know, this tablecloth might come up and sit up on my crafting table. I do like it. But it looks lovely down on my dining table too. We'll see. So that will be sewn in. Yesterday, as I said, I did a little chat about Agatha, and I learnt a lot preparing for the little talk. What I didn't mention in the chat was that Agatha went to tea with the Queen, which she absolutely loved, because the Queen loved her, of course, and also she was given the OBE. And in the little film, I just show you the medals. They were they found in the book, you know, the National Trust book. It said they found them in the back of a cupboard when they were preparing the house. So, yeah, I think she was very pleased to meet the Queen, but she was a very modest woman. The other thing I didn't mention in my chat was about Miss Marple. Miss Marple was dreamt up at the end of 1920, about 1929, 1930, and she had quite a few books written about her, well, or including her. And Joan Hickson was in a play of Agatha's, not playing Miss Marple, but just playing a character. And apparently Agatha wrote to her and said, I would be so honoured if you would play Miss Marple for me. And of course, we know that she did play Miss Marple on the television and on the stage as well, I think. So, yeah, she was modelled after her Auntie Granny's friends, people that people watched, and yeah, learnt a lot about the people. So I think that Agatha said that Miss Marple was modelled on Auntie Granny's friends, who I tell you about in my little chat. So I'll put that up here, and the little film about Greenway will run straight in. And just to tell you about the doors, I was enamoured with the doors. One room you went through, and then there was a little corridor, just enough for one of you to stand, but it was beautifully, you know, the wood. And then another door opened, and then in one of the rooms, I think it was the dining room, the door was round because the wall was round and the door was round too. And that's what I am, my little film with. In case you wonder, what's she taking doors for? They were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Yes, well, we went to visit Greenway, as you know. I had a little chat last week about Agatha. But to carry it on a bit further, she wrote 66 crime novels, 6 non-crime novels, 60 short stories and 25 plays. And she sold over 1 billion in English, 1 billion in worldwide, and you know, other languages, and Shakespeare and the Bible are her only rivals. Christie's mother, Clara, Agatha said that my mother was my great and abiding love. She felt completely understood by her mother. And in that year, we talked about last week when her mother died, and then Archie, her husband, said, you know, he no longer wanted to be married, he wanted a divorce. She had a breakdown, and that was dreadful. But just to talk about Clara's family for a minute, I found it quite interesting, this bit. Clara's Agatha's mother, and Clara's father was an army captain, and he fell from his horse and died when Clara was 9. There was 3 other children in the family. They were all boys. And Clara's mother, Polly, said, I can't, she didn't have any money. And so Polly's sister, Margaret, said, I will adopt Clara. And so Auntie Margaret became Clara's adoptive mother. Clara said she always felt a bit left out, that feeling of why me? Why not one of the boys? Why couldn't I have stayed with Mum? But she was happy with her Auntie Margaret, and I'm sure she saw her mum, but being adopted by an aunt was different, wasn't it? Auntie Margaret married a chap who'd been married before, and his son had been brought up in New York City, and he came over naturally to visit his father, and Clara and Frederick fell in love and they got married, and they were Agatha's parents. So Auntie Margaret, who was Clara's mum's sister, who then became her adoptive mum, well, then she became her mother-in-law because she married her stepson. Clara married her stepson. Yes, it's quite simple when you know it, but you can see the complications that arise. And when you read an Agatha Christie book, it has been said that in the front, there's often the diagram of the house, because, you know, one might come through that door and that door, adjoining bedrooms or this or that. We've got a diagram of the house, but what often is needed is a diagram of the family, because she writes quite complicated families, and that's because she came from one. She called Auntie Margaret, or Clara's adoptive mum, or Clara's mother-in-law, Auntie Granny. Agatha went to Paris when she was 15 because she'd been taught at home and her mum wanted to finish her schooling. So she went to school in Paris when she was 15, and Agatha wanted to become a pianist, an opera singer, which she was very good at. She was very good at singing. She was very good at playing the piano. However, she wasn't good enough. How good do you have to be to make that your living? So that was a disappointment for her, but also she was quite a shy person. She didn't have the personality to perform in public. Writing suited her much better. When the first season came for Agatha to pass out as a debutante, she couldn't go to London. That would have been far too expensive. And so her mother took her to Cairo. And we can see the links there, can't we? She had 3 months in Cairo in Egypt, and it was the most amazing time. 5 dances every week, just, you know, 3 months of socialising. She had 3 or 4 marriage proposals, but we know she married Archie Christie, and that didn't work out. She was divorced in 1928. Poirot came about in The Mysterious Affair at Styles. And there again, in that book, there's a very convoluted family structure. Poirot was in 33 novels, 50 short stories and 2 plays. Over 50 years, from 1920 until 1975, Agatha left in a safe the manuscript of Poirot's death, and some people have said that shouldn't have been published, but it was published posthumously, and yeah, that's been on television, hasn't it? There was quite a few Belgian refugees in Torquay, and that's where Agatha got her idea from for Poirot. When Agatha was writing, she went to Haytor on Dartmoor, and I've said that Pete, as a child, he went to Babbacombe, which is where, you know, Agatha was with her mum, and all the friends lived around there. And so it was rather lovely that Pete spent his youth there too. And then growing up, well, not growing up, grown up, we spent a lot of our time, which is why we love to go back there now, riding on Dartmoor, Haytor. And that's where Agatha went. She stayed at Haytor, and she wrote The Mysterious Affair at Styles in the morning. In the afternoon, she'd go out for her walks, and she would say the voices. She would see how characters got on. And her sister did say, you will drive yourself nutty doing that, but she didn't, of course, because that was her way of writing. She also said that one time she hurt her wrist, and so she did it into a dictaphone, but she said no, you have the opportunity to be much more verbose. And I can feel that, because as I sit here and chat away, you know, you think, uh-oh, edit, we'll take that bit out, we'll take that bit out. Because I have a habit of waffling on. That's why it's called Penelope's chinwag. I can chinwag for England. But writing down, typing, yes, she said it helps her keep to the point. And I'm reading Agatha's books now, and boy, can I see that. Things can be summed up in one short sentence. A description of a room or of clothing or of a person. It's summed up in 2 or 3 sentences. No long descriptions. And that's what makes it so good. You know, they move on at quite a pace and the words are very punchy. Every word seems to mean something. She loved travel. And by chance, she visited Istanbul by the Orient Express. She'd booked up a holiday to go to the West Indies, and she was due to go in a few days' time. But some acquaintances asked her out for dinner, and she went, and they were saying that they'd been on the Orient Express and how wonderful it was. And she'd seen the Orient Express when she was in Calais, and always wanted to go on it. So she did no more than go to Cook's travel agent. She cancelled her trip to the West Indies, and she went by what's name, Orient Express. She went there to Istanbul. Well, we all know Murder on the Orient Express and how brilliant that is. She was fed up in England because after her breakdown, she was hounded by the press, hounded. And she just said, there's no life for me left in England. So she took herself off. She said it was a challenge to go by herself. She'd always been with her mother, her family, or with Archie. She'd travelled the world with Archie. But here now, she was getting on the Orient Express on her own. And she found it a challenge, but she really thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know if you've heard of Leonard Woolley. He discovered the tomb of King Tut. And in the 1920s, archaeology, it was something else. You know, they were finding so much. The British Museum is full, as are other museums around the world, full of treasures and finds that were found in the 20s. Woolley's discovery at Ur also extended way back to Abraham. They found some wonderful biblical treasures that backed up the Bible. Things that people had said, oh no, that couldn't be true, that couldn't be true. And here, Leonard Woolley found proof that it was true. And they were absolute treasures. Well, Agatha wanted to go for herself and see the digs and see the treasures, but not normally permitted, obviously. But as luck would have it, Woolley's wife, Kathleen, she was an excavator herself, and she'd read Agatha and she'd heard of Agatha. Of course, she wanted to meet her, so she said to her husband, Leonard, oh, please, please, let her come. And so Agatha went and visited all the digs. And that's where we get in so many of her books, don't we? You know, Mesopotamia and all the archaeological things. And Death on the Nile. Well, there's so many, so many. Well, Agatha went back the year after that, and there was another chap who was called Max Mallowan, and he was Leonard Woolley's assistant. He hadn't been there that first year, but he was definitely there the second year because he proposed, they married, and she spent the rest of her life with him and was very happy. He actually became a Sir. So whereas Archie didn't have much, you know, going for him in a way, and he was quite jealous of her writing, Max had his own life. He was an archaeologist, he was a Sir, And he loved the fact that his wife was doing very, very well with her writing. It was a good, happy marriage. But World War II separated them, and Greenway House by the River Dart, which I'm going to show you a little film after this, was bought in 1938, and 2 bombs landed close by but missed the house. Eventually, officers of the 10th Coast Guard Flotilla, American officers, they were going to take part in D-Day. They were posted there because the house was requisitioned. In fact, after Agatha came back to the house, she said there was 17 toilets being put in. Obviously, they're all taken away now. But you'll see a picture of a frieze that one of the officers, he was an artist, and he did a frieze all round their dining room. And Agatha, when she went back after the war, she left it there, and it's still there now. And I took a photograph of that for you to see. So as I say, Agatha moved back to London because she didn't want to be separated, you know, too far apart from Max. He worked in the Air Ministry in London, and Agatha worked in the hospital that I was born in, University College Hospital, and she rented a flat in Hampstead. And if you heard Pete's last Desert Island Disc, he talks about going down a hill on a motorbike of his friends. Well, I think it was a motorbike scooter come thing. Anyway, it didn't have many brakes or much brake, and he had to freewheel down this great hill in Highgate, which is quite near Hampstead. So again, we, you know, quite feel part of where she was, where she came from. So she worked in the pharmacy at University College Hospital, and because she trained in the First World War, she was a nurse in the First World War in Torquay, but she got bad flu, and when she went back, there was a post in the pharmacy to train, and she did that and trained and worked there. And so then she took a few more exams in University College Hospital, and she worked there through the Second World War. She didn't go down into the you know, where you go when there's an air raid, because she said, no, I just can't do that. She put her fur coat over her and put a pillow over her head and stayed in bed. So it was said. I think it was a bit like my mum, you know, they didn't go down the air raid shirts, they didn't do that. And Mum said it was quite frightening. I think Mum said she had an incendiary come down because she wasn't far from Hampstead either. So, you know, it was a good lot of bombing went on there. Anyway, she came back unscathed, and yes, they visited Greenway so much.
Someone was killed here in Dead Man's Folly, in that novel. Yeah. That young girl that was asked to become and be a body on the floor, as it were, yeah. She was found as body on the floor. Somebody had actually killed her. So there was like a murder mystery night, and Poirot was invited to come along and play his part.
Is it going?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay then.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not going to say what number record this is for your choice, because our daughter came to visit last Friday, and she said, Dad, you're going to be doing at least 16 records. So I don't think we're going by protocol. I think she wants a series because she likes seeing her dad. We don't get to see each other that often, and she likes to see her dad on Desert Island Disc. So here goes, whatever number it is. We've lost count.
Lost count, yeah.
So this one...
We had 2 for 1 last week.
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah,
there you go, 2 for 1.
So there we are. Okay, so what have you chosen?
Ruby.
Ruby.
By Ray Charles.
I don't think many people know Ruby,
Oh.
but I certainly do know it because...
1962 it came out.
It came out in 62, right. But you sang it to me in 67.
Yeah.
So Pete and I, we met at, I was chatting to a girl at a bus stop, in case you're a new viewer, in case you're interested. I was chatting to a girl at a bus stop because I had to change buses on my way home from work. I was 17, and she said to me, I'm having a party, and tomorrow, it's my 21st. Would you like to come? Well, I went. Didn't know anybody because I'd only met her at a bus stop chatting away like you do, and Mum said, oh, go. And you were in the army, weren't you?
I was.
And how come you got there?
Well, I was on leave. It was New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so that's when I met Pete at this party.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, for me,
I just walked in
and
I was making my way to the bar, which one does at a party.
Yeah.
And I heard this little voice. And I turned round and there's nobody there, but then I looked down and there you were.
Cheeky.
Oh, look, the sun's come out.
Oh, no. What should we do?
We should have blinds put up.
They're up.
Oh.
Anyway.
I think that's it.
So he...
I'm in the shade.
You're in the shade, okay.
Yeah.
So he got me a drink. The rest is history. We've been married 56 years this year.
And
then
I was moved.
A month. It wasn't even a month. It was about 3 weeks after that party.
I went to the...
Pete was requisitioned to go and cook for, I've got it here, Major General Charles Stainforth, CB, OBE. Yes, that's
General
right.
Officer Commanding.
That's it. Commanding Southeastern District. And was he the one with the...
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't the one, because I know you cooked for the man who rides next to the Queen.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, so this guy...
That was when I came back.
This guy had a beautiful, beautiful house in Cobham in Surrey.
Right in the middle of a wood.
Countryside, beautiful. And so I used to get what was then, I don't know if they still have them now, but they were called Green Line buses.
Oh, Green Line buses, yeah.
Yeah, and we could get that outside my house.
And it used to go all the way to Cobham.
It did, which is an hour and a half bus ride.
Yep.
More?
Well, it'd be about 3 hours now, but then it was about 1 hour and 3/4.
About 1 hour and 3/4 bus ride. A long, long way. And I used to get on the bus, and then we used to pop and have a cup of tea with a guy who also worked there. He had a little house, didn't he? Because you were only temporary. And then I'd go back and get the bus back. As I wrote in my diary, I've got my diary of 1967, and I wrote in my diary a heck of a long way, and I didn't really want to spend the money because I was saving up to get married.
I've known you for about a week.
I know, but I thought, oh no, we won't spend any money just in case. But I did spend the money to go and get on the Green Line bus. Yeah. And we chatted. Mainly, I suppose we really got to know each other on that Green Line bus, didn't we? Because an hour and a half just sitting there, but it was quite a nice ride, wasn't it?
It was.
But then we got there.
Then we had to get off the bus.
Yeah.
It was quite about half a mile through this wood.
Through the wood? We wouldn't do it now, would we?
Well, I don't know.
Well, anyway, that's a superfluous question.
You wouldn't do it now. You didn't want to do it then.
No, but anyway, it was a quick way, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a quick way.
To walk through the wood. And because I was scared...
And it was January we were doing this. January, February.
January. Yeah, it was freezing cold.
And it was dark early. And
yes.
Anyway.
Of course it was.
And,
it was dark, pitch black.
You used to get the collywobbles, as you said.
Yeah,
so I used to sing Ruby to you.
He did. He used to sing me this song, Ruby. If you don't know it, which I'm sure you won't, you'll have to Google it. How does it go, love?
Ruby, you're just a dream. Into my heart you came.
Yeah, you're like a dream. Yeah.
Da 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 da. Ruby, it's you. I don't know the song.
Oh, Ruby.
Anyway, so I've got it on this long player.
You loved that record, didn't you?
I did.
And he knew all the words, and he sung me this song.
As you noticed, I don't know them now.
Sung me this song all through the woods.
And that used to keep you.
Yeah, it was lovely. Anyway, he released this in '62, but you sang it to me in '67.
Yeah, well.
Ruby, you're like a dream.
Quite an old.
Into my life you came. And you know what? I've said it before, but Pete continues to do the same.
What?
Whatever you're feeling, whatever's on your mind.
Yeah. I sing a song. He
sings a song. So I always know what he's thinking. I always know what's going on in his head because these songs just come tripping out. And
shame I can't sing, isn't it, really?
You can. You're beautiful. You know that you took a bow when you were 3, HP.
Yeah. That
and
was...
you sang in the choir, didn't you, and all of that?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We've got Georgia and Ruby for the Lush string ballad treatment. That's what it is. Georgia on my mind.
That's the other one he did. Yeah.
That the other
but
one.
But it was Ruby that we liked.
Ruby that you sang to me. Of course, I'd never heard of it.
But it was interesting. It's a funny old thing.
Yeah.
You know, who would have known that I'd met you that night? Because I said to my mum, I don't know if I want to go. She said, oh, go on, you never know, you might meet a nice young lady.
Well, you did.
And your mum and dad, you phoned, because you stayed the night at my house.
I stayed the night with your mum and dad, didn't I? Because they were moving
to
that
Devon.
week, later to Devon, yeah, just south of Dartmoor.
We was having a party the week after, which you came to.
So you said to me, would you come to my party?
And all my mates turned up, there's hundreds of them.
So I sort of got a bit left out because I didn't know all the mates.
I had to mingle.
One chap asked me out, said, are you going out with Pete? Would you like to come out with me? I said no. And I left my gloves there, so we had to meet under the clock in London, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What clock?
Oh, no, don't ask me that. There's several clocks in London at a railway station.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Oh, I might have it in my diary. I'll have to look it up. We'll have a chat later. We're waffling.
So it's Ruby.
So Ruby...
That's number 7 or 8 or 9 or 6.
Or whatever number it is. Well, it's been a bit of a waffle this week.
That's all right.
Okay, then.
Felt like a waffle.
Did you? Yeah. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And so that's it for this week. I'll say cheerio. I'll see you next time. And there's just a little film now to put up of our walks around the garden on Dartmoor. So take care of yourselves. Enjoy the lovely weather if you've got it. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.